Welcome back to the Tavern, everyone. I'm Knight Kylo Ben. This is going to be our spoiler review of Episode 9. Now, that is your warning, so if you want to see a spoiler-free initial reaction video, we've already done that. Link will be in the description. With that, let's go ahead and hop in.
Okay. Where do we even start with Star Wars Episode 9? Because this movie immediately just opens up with Kylo Ren bouncing around on planets. We've got Poe and Finn bouncing around with an Imperial spy. Like, where do we start?
Opening crawl.
I can't remember.
I know you said you couldn't remember it, but they immediately... So the trailers are just having Palpatine speak over the credits.
Right.
And then there's just no mystery involved with that whatsoever. They immediately get it out of the way in opening crawl. It's the second sentence.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. The opening crawl does just say Emperor Palpatine is back, and it's just
whispers of the dark Emperor returning, or something.
Yeah, like the voice of the dead Emperor or something like that.
It's
I remember that.
A recording that was spread around the galaxy, and I didn't appreciate that they just got that out of the way in the very beginning. I wanted that to be a major plot point.
Yeah, like, is Palpatine actually back? Yes or no? But even then, we see him physically in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Like,
yep.
Kylo Ren just gets there immediately. And there's Emperor Palpatine, who, by the way, does look cool. Like, he's on, like, a machine that's got him all hooked up. It's like he's on some sort of strange life support.
Yeah.
And that is cool, but it's like there's no mystery, no nuance, no subtlety. It's like Kylo Ren finds Palpatine immediately.
They have to break through and say everything that happened in Episode 8. They're trying to get rid of Episode 8 as fast as they possibly can.
Yeah, they're really trying to just be like, here's where we're at a little while later.
To the point that Palpatine is just mimicking the voices of Snoke, Vader, whoever.
I was every voice inside your head, and it's just like, that's cool, but obviously that wasn't the plan.
No.
Otherwise, we would have been getting these little hints sprinkled into 7 and 8, like, maybe Snoke isn't quite right. Maybe Snoke, but it turns out Snoke literally was a puppet, a puppet of Palpatine.
I mean, it was kind of that felt kind of obvious to me because one, they made it clear that he wasn't a Sith.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a powerful Force sensitive.
Right.
So the fact that he was a puppet of some Sith doesn't surprise me at all.
I suppose retroactively that's fair, but
bring in the Dark Empires from the Legends comics.
Yeah, you could tell. Yeah,
cloning stuff. So that's why Snoke looks the way he does.
Yeah, because you could see tubes of Snokes. Yes. Like there were multiple Snokes being cloned at any given moment. So there really is a lot of inspiration from the Dark Empire comics, which was cool. I appreciated seeing those references, but they're really, really rushing it. Like within the first 5 minutes of the movie, the new Imperial Star Destroyer fleet is revealed. We see it immediately.
That was so cool.
It was
as
cool.
Soon as I saw that, I'm just like,
it was a really cool shot. Like it's like, oh man! But at the same time, it's like, did we really need to do that in the first 3 minutes of the movie?
I mean, I appreciated the shock factor. My mouth literally dropped when I saw that. I'm just like
we're setting the stage for it really fast.
Well, at the end of Episode 8, we see basically most of the fleet was destroyed. The First Order.
Most of that fleet, but they established that the First Order had enough ships to be spreading across the galaxy and fucking shit up.
That's fair.
So
it's clearly setting the stage for something big.
This new Star Destroyer fleet would be enough to just steamroll the whole galaxy.
Yes.
And since all these Star Destroyers have planet killer cannons on them now, everyone's a mini Death Star now. There's now this extra tension. It's like, we don't have time anymore. Now the Star Destroyers can blow up planets, because of course they can.
Episode 4, they make a Death Star. Episode 6, they make a bigger Death Star. Episode 7,
they make an even bigger Death Star.
Episode 9,
they make multiple Death Stars.
They're like, what if we just put the cannon on a Star Destroyer?
Yeah. So the issue with Episode 7 was that it was planet-sized, but what was the point of making it an actual planet?
Because it was actually easier to mine out a planet than mine a planet's worth of resources to build the damn thing.
Okay.
So basically, you're digging a hole, and that hole is giving you the resources to refill that hole with parts.
Okay.
Yeah, and since that planet was Ilum, you have basically all the kyber crystals you're ever going to need for that thing just there. So you're mining all your key components on site, completely in secret because
Okay.
no one goes to that planet.
Okay.
So
That was something I never understood about that. So then, taking issue with that, or taking stuff from that, going into the fleet now, how do they have the resources to power all of those cannons?
okay, those ships, from what I understand, if they're really going off of the Dark Empire thing, is that that's a lost fleet that Palpatine put there during the Imperial era. Because those are Imperial 1 class Star Destroyers that did not that were replaced during Episode 5. So these are old ships that have been sitting there for a long time. How they have those cannons, your guess is as good as mine. But those are really old ships that have been sitting around for a long time.
That's fine. I'm not taking issue with how they have the cannons. I'm wondering how you power that many anti-planet weapons.
Powerful reactors and plot convenience. You
You
kind of got to let it go, I guess. It's just like, how does a Star Destroyer have that much power?
I don't take issue with that because it's also like 25 years in the future. Technology shrinks over time. That's fine.
Yeah, we should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you powering it?
Well, the whole time Palpatine's just been building this stuff.
Yeah, Palpatine's been waiting in the shadows this entire time.
We could assume that this happened basically at the start of the Empire, maybe.
A contingency plan?
Contingency plan.
For sure.
For his multiple contingency plans. Looking at you, Operation Center.
Operation Center was stupid. But we need to get back on it because we've been going off on a little bit of a tangent about just the first thing.
So the order in which things happen, it opens with
Kylo Ren
right?
finding the Wayfinder, which gives
and then immediately
him...
getting to Exegol.
Which immediately gets him to Exegol. Palpatine tells him to find Rey and kill her.
And then we cut to Finn.
And then we cut to Finn and Poe on a ice asteroid.
Wait. What?
What?
Palpatine orders Kylo to kill Rey.
Yeah.
But all he wanted was to get Rey to that planet anyways.
Yeah, we don't know that.
Okay, it's... Go continue.
I mean,
No, it's a plot hole. You're right.
Yeah, we're getting out of order because, yeah, he did order him to
to go...
I think he used the word destroy.
Destroy Rey?
Kill the scavenger.
Kill the scavenger, right?
Yeah.
Which, in the terms of the Force, that could just mean make her fall.
We'll go see it again. But, so Finn and Poe are on this little bit of a side quest. There's
This is not a side quest. That has major importance.
It turns out to be kind of a side quest.
Yeah.
There's an Imperial spy that is feeding them information, but in the advanced time of Star Wars, they have to physically go to a location and physically plug into somebody else's ship to transfer the information to R2 just to get the information. And we have a cool little scene where, they blast their way out of an ice asteroid and they blow up shit. And then we cut to the new Rebel base, which is on another forest planet. I don't think we ever got the name for that planet.
Nope.
No, because there were no planet title cards.
Yeah, we jumped to 3 or 4 planets and we only get
we have
1 or 2
no
names.
idea where they are.
Yeah. Rey is training in the Force, and it turns out that Leia is her new master. I really do appreciate that. That's what they did with Carrie Fisher. She is the mentor to Rey.
Yes.
I like that. And
it kind of came out of left field to me because I didn't realize Luke training Leia was canon.
it's in the books. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
They really gloss over it. Even I didn't know that she had basically completed her Jedi training. I thought that she had just chosen to go into politics and kind of just go off and do her own thing.
This is kind of important information, though, because it makes the scene in Episode 8 not out of left field.
Because she is as strong as
She's
Luke.
actually received training?
Yeah, she's basically a Jedi.
Yeah, because Luke specifically said it happened on her, last day of training?
On the last day of training, she had a vision that her son would destroy something. What was it? What would...
No, her being a Jedi would lead to her son's death or something like that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right.
I don't know how that works, but we'll move on from that.
I would need to watch it again to get the exact dialogue.
So,
it was something to that effect.
Rey is actually having a kind of cool character arc in the beginning. She's pissed. She is pissed off about something. She feels a disconnect from the other Jedi. Why aren't they talking to me? I need some help. I need some guidance and all that good stuff. And then we get our first silly joke. It's hey, the Falcon's back. And Rey goes walking over to the Falcon, and Poe and Finn just nonchalantly go, Falcon's on fire. Yep, the Falcon's on fire.
Yeah, the whole Falcon is burning. Poe immediately runs over to
Oh.
BB-8.
Oh, we skipped over
forgot
the hyperspace
skipping.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was
no.
awesome.
No, that's a cool little scene. Like, while they're fleeing from the TIE fighters, Poe does this crazy maneuver called hyperspace skipping, where without coordinates, he's just wildly jumping back and forth into hyperspace to get away from the TIE fighters. And
somehow they're keeping up.
And Finn is just...
They follow them through hyperspace.
I think they're getting, like, caught in the rift. Like, they're getting pulled into because they're so close. I don't know. But, like, Finn was complaining the whole time. It's like, you are not Rey. Only Rey can do this. It's like, well, Rey's not here, so I'm going to do it. So it's just like... So when they get back and they're like, oh, Falcon's on fire. Rey comes back, yelling at Poe, like, why is the Falcon on fire? And Rey accidentally damaged BB-8, so Poe's like, why's my droid busted?
Why's my ship on fire?
They were bickering like an old married couple, and it really threw me off for a few seconds. I'm like, are these two dating? Like,
I was really afraid of that.
Showing some kind of chemistry between them.
Like, they were really bickering, like, but it was good bickering. I liked it.
Yes, it was.
And then Finn is just in the background, like, Falcon's on fire.
But to be fair, there was a lot of bickering with the old group back in episode 5, remember? Like, Han Solo and Leia were arguing like a married couple.
But Han was actively trying to get with her. Like, actively. Yes. Like, the whole time actively trying to get with her.
I mean, I could say that they were trying to do the same thing.
Maybe, but it doesn't really go anywhere. So I guess it's not that big of a deal.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely nowhere.
From here, I kind of lose track. Where did they go next?
The next thing...
I will apologize.
The desert planet?
I will apologize in advance that we don't know everything because the movie went a mile a minute.
Yeah,
fast. It doesn't slow down until about an hour and 30 minutes in.
And even then, it only slows down for like 5 minutes to go. Hey, here's the plan.
Star Wars fans that we are, this is too much.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
The message they received told them about Palpatine's fleet.
Yes,
and then they went to the desert planet because they knew they had to find a way to execute.
They have to find a way
to stop it.
Yeah, they have to get there. So they go to another desert planet. It's not Tatooine. It's not Jakku. But damn it might as well be. I'm pretty sure they just filmed it in Tunisia like they always do. Yeah. But that was a cool planet. They had the sequence with the festival.
Yes.
And this fun little festival, and we're reintroduced to Lando Calrissian. Mm-hmm. And that was such a nice reunion. It was so cool to see him. It's like, how'd you find us? It's like, and he just goes, Wookiees stand out in a crowd. I'm like, oh, it's so great to see you, Lando. Yeah. It's so great to see you. And I loved it. I loved every second of it.
That was a little bit of fan service that just kind of went over my head. Lando's from the prequels, right?
No, Lando...
Or not the prequels, from the original trilogy.
5 and 6,
yeah. So I haven't watched those movies to death, and when I did watch them, I wasn't really interested in like character arcs. I was there because it was an action movie.
No.
So I'm not attached to Lando in any capacity.
Well, it's all right. 5 and 6 are on the horizon for us to review, so...
Chewie was so happy.
Yeah, maybe I'll enjoy it more.
Chewie was so happy to see Lando.
Yeah, because it's just great to see another original trilogy character, but when I saw him, my first thought was, so how are they going to kill you, Lando?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for Chewbacca throughout the entirety of this. He lost Han in episode 7. He lost Luke in episode 8.
And we're going to lose Leia in episode 9. And then we almost lose Chewie.
Yeah, we almost lose Chewie.
Yeah, that one got me. Like, we went through this whole thing.
Yeah, I thought they actually killed him. I'm like, wait, there is no body. He's not dead.
Yeah, no, they got us really good.
The scene leading up to that, though, was fantastic. I was so happy that somebody, like, at least with Vader's level of force sensitivity or better, finally reached out and was just like, that's a ship. Get back here.
Oh, yeah. But
I love that.
Let's back up just a second, though, because I wanted to talk about the Finn subplot, where he had something to tell Rey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So they go through this, this silly Star Wars chase scene. They get away, and they get thrown into some sort of weird quicksand. So they're all about to die, as far as they're aware. And Finn goes, Rey, I didn't tell you that, and then he slips away. But it turns out that they just end up in a cave underneath, and Rey goes, so what were you going to tell me? He's just like, I'll tell you later, and stuff like that.
And then Poe.
When Poe's not here.
I was just like, oh, is it because I'm here? He's like, yeah.
It's because you're here, yeah. 100% because you're here. And then they encounter the MacGuffin, which turns out to be a Sith dagger that has the coordinates to the location of the other Sith Wayfinder. Like, they would have never...
Because it could have been locked up in a box somewhere.
I have no idea where the third one is.
There's 2. Kylo's got 1.
There's 2.
And the other one is in the other
I thought they
place.
said there was 3.
Only 2.
We need to watch
two.
this because I disagree with
Only
that.
2.
Master and Apprentice, only 2.
I'll bet you $10.
What? I ain't got $10.
I don't have $10 on me right now either, but we're going to the movies.
I mean, no.
Guys!
Fine. But no, so they find a Sith dagger that just so happens to have the location of the other Wayfinder, but only 3PO can read it. But by some sort of ridiculous bullshit, 3PO can read it, but he can't say it.
Because it's in the cursed language.
Because it's in the Sith. But Anakin built him. Why would that be a thing? It doesn't matter.
Could have.
So they get out, and then Rey has her encounter with Kylo Ren from the trailer, where she's running through the desert and she does the flip over Kylo's ship and destroys it. But at that moment, Chewbacca gets captured by the Knights of Ren and is put in a dropship. As the dropship's flying away, Finn screams at Rey, "Rey, Chewie!" And then it's what Kyle was saying. It's like, no, you're not going. No, just reaches out and grabs it. But then Kylo also grabs it, so they're having this weird tug of war with Chewie's transport.
I can just imagine the inside of that ship like...
I mean, yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I'm surprised they didn't show that.
And then
just for a second, just for the comedy.
I think it would have broken up the tension of the scene, because then immediately, Rey in anger force lightnings the transport and explodes. And
which is a little weird because I didn't know, we've never seen force lightning be that powerful.
That's the point. That's some ridiculous force lightning that just happened right there.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Wait till the actual force lightning that comes into play later on.
That was cool, though. That was like an EMP type thing.
Anyways.
But yeah. And then everyone, screams out Chewie, and I'm sitting in the theater. It's totally quiet. And I say out loud, Are you fucking kidding me? I couldn't help myself. You don't kill Chewie like that, and they do their little scene where they're all sad and Chewie, and Rey's blaming herself, and I'm blaming Rey, and
I was sitting there.
I'm blaming Rey,
and at no point did it actually occur to me that Chewie was really dead.
No, they got me. Just for a moment, they got me. I'm like, because they killed Han, they killed Luke, and in my mind, they were totally gonna kill Lando.
So I was watching that and it happened. I'm like, oh, that's gonna tear a lot of people up. But I was kind of emotionally removed from the scene, and then
the very next scene,
it cuts away to them, and I'm just like, oh wait, there's no body, whatever.
And then the very next scene, it's like, we found one of them in the transport. As Chewie's just like, okay, we're good. Chewie's okay.
False alarm.
False alarm.
This is a pattern throughout the movie, by the way. It happens more than once.
A lot of cop-outs. There are a lot of cop-outs.
So many cop-outs.
Yeah. And I think we're heading towards the next one now. It's time to head for an icy planet where they're going to recover C-3PO's memory because they lost the dagger.
Yeah.
No, they're going to force him to translate it, but that requires a memory wipe to be able to...
Did they lose the dagger? No, they didn't.
No, the dagger got captured.
They lost the dagger.
The dagger got captured with Chewbacca.
That's right.
Because Chewie had the dagger. So they go there, and Poe doesn't want to go, right? Poe doesn't want to go because...
Poe's resentful to go because he had his old gang there.
Yeah.
He had a bad run-in with them.
So they encounter one of Poe's old friends. I'm going to assume it's an ex-girlfriend by the way they talk to each other.
Oh, definitely.
What are you talking about?
And
it's most certainly an ex-girlfriend.
And then it's revealed that he used to be a spice runner. And, Finn and Rey go, you were a spice runner? And he's like, you were a stormtrooper? You were a scavenger? We can do this all day. I mean, come on. So they have this moment of, we gotta help, and, Rey almost kills Poe's girlfriend.
What are you talking about? She just flexed a little bit.
Yeah, no, they get into a fight, and at the end of the fight, the chick has got her blaster pistol in Rey's face, and Rey's got a lightsaber in her face, and me and Chris are just going, pull the trigger. Just pull the trigger. She can't block that. It's like, pew pew.
Yeah, seriously.
Pull the trigger!
So...
If I had a lightsaber in my face, I'd be shooting.
Counter argument.
Okay.
Is that we've already seen Kylo Ren catch a blaster bolt.
But that took him a moment to catch it. It was already halfway through flight.
Pull the trigger, I dare you.
No, so they go through an emotional moment, a genuinely emotional moment with 3PO where he says, I'm going to take one last look at my friends before the memory wipe happens because there's no choice. And the memory wipe happens, and they spout out that the Wayfinder is in the Death Star.
Oh, hold on for a second. Yeah, let's sink in the theme that C-3PO had a very sincere moment of like, I have to look at my friends one last time because you're going to wipe my memories.
Yeah.
If this process happens.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, C-3PO is going to forget everything. Hopefully this will build up later up in the series, right? Or later on in the movie.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. To be fair, they already pointed out, like, aren't your memories backed up on R2?
Yeah, but that would be an obvious, like, wouldn't the fans guess that? Like, they threw that out there just for us.
Uh-huh.
Because my first guess would be, too, like, R2 totally has a backup.
But all they said was,
and then 3PO
it's
says,
unreliable.
Yeah, C-3PO says, R2 unit memory banks are ridiculously unreliable. Like, that's not an option. Yeah, I know they're going to use it to comp it out later, but in that moment, it made sense.
Yeah, unreliable doesn't mean it doesn't work.
I suppose. But even still, it's a bit of a cop-out.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's totally a cop-out.
It would have stuck a little bit better if they had just said, oh, to get this information, like, it's going to... Or they have to, like, I don't know, deactivate the setting, which, like, might be tied to, like, his power bank or something, so forcing him to translate this could, like, fry his cells or whatever.
I would just take...
I don't understand that, too. Like, okay, we have a firewall up, he can't translate what he read, but he knows what he read.
Wait, I got it. We're going to take his memory bank. We're going to put it in another protocol droid. We're going to make them say it.
What?
We're going to take the memory bank out. We're going to put it back in 3PO, and we're going to call it a day.
That's more contrived than what actually happened.
It's space fantasy, dude. We got to keep going. But then, how did they end up on the Star Destroyer? How did they know Chewie's alive? What happened?
Rey sensed him whenever Kylo Ren's ship showed up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then they decide to go on a...
Chewie's on that ship.
They decide to go on a mission to take out a Star Destroyer by themselves. Or not take it out, but rescue Chewie.
They had...
Oh, and also they lost the Millennium Falcon, so the Falcon's also on...
Oh, yeah, they abandoned the Falcon on the desert planet. I forgot about that.
I mean, they really didn't have a choice.
I know. And they go off on their little mission. And they do have that really funny scene with the Stormtroopers. It's like, it's okay that we're here. It's okay that you're here. You're relieved that we're here. Oh man, it's so great to see you. Like,
that reminded me so much of that college humor sketch from way back when, where it was like a spoof of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And those guys just relaxed, so relieved. And I'm like, are you guys from like... Did they take those guys? Is that like a cameo or something I missed?
Maybe, honestly. Like, there's always hidden troopers.
Yeah.
I think, like, one of the members of, like, One Direction or something was us hitting the Stormtrooper this time. I can't remember. But then Rey has, like, Finn and Poe go do the obligatory go rescue Chewie scene. But Rey goes off and does something pretty cool. She ends up in Kylo Ren's quarters.
I thought we were done with the them being able to see and interact with each other through space. I thought we were done with that, and they brought it back. And I was like, oh,
yeah, because Snoke said it was him that was doing it, like he connected them. But in this movie, it retcons that.
I want to say it was just Snoke messing with, like, Kylo.
Fucking with them.
Yeah.
Because in this one, it turns out that they're what's called a dyad in the Force, like a duality in the Force, where she's the light and he's the dark.
Yes.
So they're just interconnected to each other, which I thought was a cool idea. Like, it's always nice to see a new Force idea. But in this one, it takes the whole I can see you thing to a new extreme, because now they can interact with each other at a distance. Like, he can reach out and grab... He grabbed a necklace on the desert planet, and that's what led them...
Yes. That's how he even know where to go.
They can have a lightsaber fight across dimensions. Like, they ended up in a lightsaber fight in his quarters, and their lightsabers are connecting. Like, every hit is connecting, and then when they swipe at stuff, it'll bleed over into the other world. Like, he's on the ground, and they hit like a vase, and some red dust slips out, and then they hit Darth Vader's helmet's podium, and Darth Vader's helmet bleeds out onto his side, and he goes, "She's in my quarters, I gotta go." Like,
yeah. Which...
Oh, crap, there's a girl in my room.
There's a girl in my room!
Get out of my room!
Rey!
Don't touch my stuff!
I fully expected that happen.
What are you doing in my room?
Okay. It is kind of dumb how the movie portrays that they can seem to know where they are.
Kind of.
But the characters themselves don't know where they are.
Yeah, the only
they can
thing they
see each
is,
other.
Yeah,
Yes.
they can see each other, but not their location.
They can see each other as they would exist in that spot. Because we were seeing them in the physical locations on the other side. Like, Rey was...
Well, I'm saying, like, saying Stranger Things where Eleven's inside the dark space, wherever. And I felt like it could have been more like that. Like,
Yeah.
where they can only have that visual of seeing each other, not really knowing where they are.
Yeah, well, they don't know where they are.
Exactly.
So it's fine. Yeah. I thought it was a cool scene.
But I'm just saying, the way the movie shows it, it's not really conveyed that, oh, you can take one glance around and be like, you're in my room, I'm coming up to go get you.
Well, episode 8 did that. Because they asked each other, like, where are you? And that's why they did the shirtless Ben scene in episode 8. To establish without a faction of doubt, like, they can see each other. Because she goes, could you, like, put on a shirt or something? Like, please?
Fins.
Ben Solo! Where were we at? What's happening?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I really... So, in this movie, it felt... I don't know, the mechanic worked a lot better than it did in episode 8. In episode 8, it was just weird.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, I'm just like, okay, well, this has been going on for a while, and... You know, it turns out that it's really cool later in the movie.
Right.
And I really, really appreciated that. But then the way it works in this one, because in 8, they couldn't touch each other, could they?
They almost did. And then Luke,
Almost.
like, they were reaching out to each other, and Luke shows up and goes, no, and, like, just breaks the connection.
The connection is growing stronger.
Okay.
It's implied that they would have touched at that moment. Or were they touching? Did they touch? I can't remember. I haven't seen that movie in a while.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
it's
they ever
just
did in that
before
one.
they could.
Yeah, and now they can lightsaber fight across dimensions.
Yeah.
So
Which is, you know,
it's
it's interesting now.
Oh no, I like it. I thought it was cool, like the idea of a literal duality in the Force.
Yeah.
And it's literally only these two, so it's not really said a broken power in the Force or something.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, it's not like she can just
doesn't-
communicate with whoever across all of
It doesn't
space.
feel
and I think
contrived or a big plot hole or anything like that, because it is kind of explained like
Palpatine says it's like super rare. Like it only happens every few hundred generations or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like a weird connection in the Force, and of course, we're closing in on the revelation that Rey is in fact a what?
Palpatine!
She's a Palpatine. Because of course she fucking is.
That's the only thing that makes sense, because it's just
remember.
like trying to relate her to the Skywalkers. I'm just like, when did anybody have time to do that?
When did Palpatine?
He was an emperor!
Okay.
He has whores!
Okay, yes, fine, he has concubines. But Emperor Palpatine had a son who then had a daughter. What happened to the son? Wouldn't he be as powerful? Instead, no, he just gets stabbed by the stupid Sith dagger and dies. But it's like you skipped a whole generation of Palpatine, and Rey is what? The most powerful Force user in the history of ever?
Yeah.
Like, for sure?
Look, just because you're Force
But it's not
sensitive and
because
you have a kid
it's
does
not
not mean
because-
your kid is Force sensitive.
The movies have pretty much made that very clear.
But
that
it's
it's
not
hereditary
because-
at this point.
Oh.
Every Skywalker without fault has been nigh unstoppable.
No, it's definitely stronger than the previous.
But to be fair, just because of their lineage, it's not because of the lineage, it's more because the Force is in that kind of state where we need to have something.
Stop
There
giving
needs-
Skywalkers
This
powers.
is true.
There needs to be some form of balance.
Yeah, when Luke and Leia were born, most of the Jedi had been wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time Leia's son Ben is born,
Mm-hmm. Most
Like,
of the Jedi were coming back.
Luke was the only Jedi at that point.
Aside from Ahsoka,
There has to be a light, there has
Ezra.
to be a dark.
any other random Cal Kestis, he ain't
Okay,
dead
so
yet.
the two people you just listed are both gray. So
It doesn't
Ah,
matter.
fine.
It doesn't matter.
it does.
Let's get back on track. Where were we? Where are they headed? They're heading for Endor, right? Endor next?
Yes,
Yeah.
because they got to get to the wreckage.
And they crash, because of course they do. The Falcon is in just miserable shape, this whole movie. Like, they just... The poor Falcon. I feel so bad.
Yeah, because they escaped. Oh, we didn't talk about Finn and Poe's God mode on the Star Destroyer.
Oh,
They run through. They blitzed through like 40
stormtroopers. No, they just charged. Like, those two were just blowing through stormtroopers at the speed of light. Like, that was impressive.
Yes.
I'm going to totally give them that. Oh, we completely forgot about it. The spy subplot.
All right.
Yeah, they're back. Turns out it's Hux.
Of course.
Because of course it's Hux. They made it very blatantly clear it was Hux in the beginning of the movie. And he does the thing where it's like, why are you helping us? It's like, I don't care if you win. Kylo Ren has to lose. Oh, hey, I need you to shoot me to make it look good. So they shoot him to make it look good.
Classic contrived.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though Hux could have left with them.
He should have left with them.
I had this discussion with PT, and that it doesn't make sense for him to go with them because he's not on their side.
No, he doesn't like them.
No,
but
absolutely.
he should have known that there was no way in hell they were going to buy his whole...
So yeah, that is true. He should have left with them because that's the only way he's conceivably going to live.
And then have them drop him off. Or at least take them to the Rebel base and be like, tell us what you know or die. Or something like that. Because he's got to have tons of valuable information.
Yeah.
But no.
Well, he himself could have probably taken them to that planet, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, that Star Destroyer is gone there. So, but that probably would have negated the whole rest of the journey. Because we've still got a lot going on. Plot hole,
that
subplot
Star
that
Destroyer
ends.
has been to Exegol?
That's the Star Destroyer that they blow up at the end.
Yeah, it goes there, but has it already been there?
Maybe. Even then, Kylo Ren would have the coordinates. Just give it to him.
But has he done that at that point? Like we don't know.
We have to guess.
Yeah.
We'd only have to guess. But
It's only guess. But...
So they make it to Endor and they encounter a cavalry group of defected stormtroopers. I forget her name, the leader.
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah.
Female Finn.
Basically female
It's
Finn.
basically female Finn.
Because all of them are defected stormtroopers who all bailed out during their first battle when they were told to execute civilians.
The relationships in this movie just feel like weird fan fiction. I don't want to say Angry Joe or anything like that, but it feels very odd fan fiction-y.
Is that what Joe said? I haven't watched his review yet.
Yeah, a little bit. Because, okay, there's clearly a love triangle between
Kylo Ren, Rey, and Finn.
Poe wants in.
Poe is trying to get with...
Poe just wants to get his dick wet.
Yeah.
Poe's
Poe's
trying to get with his ex-girlfriend.
I love that they didn't overtly
he's
say
got an
that.
old flame coming back, and maybe that's going to be something. Oh, we still have the thing with Rose, who, by the way, is totally out of this movie.
Yeah, no, they bail her out immediately. She's like, should I come with you? Like, at the start of the journey, it's like, no, we need you to stay here. You got stuff to do. I literally went, all right, Rose is in the movie. We're good. We're good. Like, they really wrecked her character in the first movie. I'm sure they could have done better with her, but there's just no time. There's too much going on in this movie, and there's no time for another character.
But
Rose Tico?
Exactly. That's the joke.
Who?
The chick that goes with Finn to Canto Bight in episode 8.
Oh, unnecessary plot points. Okay.
Okay, moving on.
Very much unnecessary. And then female Finn just appears and be like, hey, you're a stormtrooper, right? Too,
Yeah,
right?
they immediately connect. Like, instantly connect. And it's like, oh yeah, well, there's tons of us stormtroopers that just defected because we're not monsters. And then Rey goes off to do the interesting thing. She's just like, I gotta get to the Death Star.
It was implied that all of those stormtroopers were force sensitive.
Wait, what?
Was it?
Yes, because when she was talking to Finn, and they were saying that we were ordered to fire on these children or whatever, and we just wouldn't do it. And I forget exactly what the dialogue is, but it goes down to it was just a feeling.
I don't want to say that they're force sensitive.
Then again, Finn is showing some weird force sensitivity in this. Like, he's feeling some things.
Yes, but once again, Jediism is the force in and of itself is an active religion. It's a feeling. It's, say, like Christianity here. Like, just because I believe in God doesn't mean like, oh man, I'm gonna walk on water. This is gonna be so cool. No, it's not. It's not that case. But there is a living, breathing force that they are now understanding is coming back to fruition.
I suppose.
If that makes any sense at all.
So in this instance, it could be saying that them implying that they're force sensitive is them just finding God. So
I mean, yeah,
maybe, yeah. That'd be a good analogy. I don't know that there's time to shoehorn religion into the movie at the...
Not at all.
I know, that's why I'm saying it was just implied.
Yeah.
They didn't
at the breakneck pace that this movie is going, not at all.
Yeah. And then...
I'm just saying it was implied. And how many of those stormtroopers did we actually see? 3?
3.
All of them.
No, we didn't.
All of them were stormtroopers. She said the whole company.
How many of them were there? Is it just a single company?
A whole company is hundreds of men. That's the company that attacks that Star Destroyer at the end of the movie. All of them. There's hundreds of them.
I know. So what I'm saying is, how many of their faces were actually on screen? Because we saw her
half dozen,
2 others.
half dozen maybe. Yeah, not many. And then we have the Death Star, which is cool to see the Death Star in a sad state of disrepair. I wonder how such a big chunk survived the explosion.
Yeah.
So the fact that they went to save Chewie is actually relevant here because they got the dagger back, which is the only reason they found.
Oh yeah, the dagger. Yeah,
its whole contrived, and the dagger is not exactly a dagger. It's more like a Saxton or something, right?
And even then, they didn't need the dagger because 3PO sacrificed himself to tell them where it was. So
they needed the dagger showed them the location.
Oh yeah, no, it was literally one of those weird match up the thing puzzles.
Yeah, from Goonies, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
What? Which doesn't really make sense. That means the dagger had to be made after the fact to match up with the rubble of the.
If that was the case,
and to match up with the Wayfinder that was already in the vault in the first place.
Yeah.
Dagger's stupid.
Can we just go out?
The dagger's stupid.
Okay, this is a good point to say that the whole movie is just riddled with plot holes.
We're all over the place. Not just plot holes.
It's literally all over the place.
Plot conveniences and contrivances that make it all over the place.
Yeah, Chewbacca, the Dagger, and the Millennium Falcon all managed to be on the same ship.
I'll let that go. Kylo has a weird obsession with the Falcon.
The transport gets destroyed, but Chewie wasn't on it.
His ship was the one that was at the desert planet, where they captured Chewie, the Dagger, and the Millennium Falcon.
Mm-hmm. All at once.
Yeah, they captured all 3 of those on the same planet, and his Star Destroyer was the only one there.
Yeah, it would all go to the same place. And then we have probably the worst cop-out in the movie, as far as I'm concerned, the Dark Rey thing from the trailer. Yeah. Where everyone's like, "Oh man, Rey might turn to the dark side. We might have this thing." No, it's just a jump scare.
Yeah, it's literally a literal jump scare.
She goes into the Emperor's vault, which was in his throne room. It was cool to see his throne room again. And she goes in the vault and grabs the Wayfinder, and there in a mirror is Dark Rey going, "This is you, this is you, this is what you're gonna." And then she goes, "Grr!" and she has monster teeth.
Monster teeth, yeah.
Yeah, she literally has monster teeth.
Razor sharp monster teeth.
And then she falls out, and Kylo Ren just so happens to be there.
But I'm willing to kind of let that go. I'm willing to let that go because the Death Star in itself is basically a Dark Force nexus.
Basically,
right?
Yeah.
So she how Luke confronted himself as Vader. All granted, didn't have monster-like appearances or anything. It was just him in the Vader suit.
Yeah. In this one, it's just grr.
Grr.
Ah! I'm Rey. I'm the best character ever. Ah!
And then we get probably my second favorite lightsaber duel in the entire series.
It was an excellent lightsaber duel. Them fighting it out on the Death Star.
Oh yeah.
It was genuine, and it was really tense too because Rey is on the warpath. She is going to fucking kill him.
She's on the warpath, but she's getting smacked around.
Yeah, and then Finn shows up to try to rescue Rey. He's like, "Rey!" and Rey just turns around and goes, "No!" and just throws him 50 feet back. It's wow, that was rude.
A little bit.
I feel like there should have been a point where Finn nearly gets knocked off.
Yeah, to make it look bad. And then we have our pivotal moment with Leia in this scene where it's
where Rey kills her?
Yeah.
Is that how you interpret that scene?
Oh, absolutely.
That's how I interpret it too.
Because
the moment Leia goes limp, that means, okay.
Right. I just thought it was a moment of I thought she was using her energy to bring back Han for a moment. That's how I interpreted it. Because Han doesn't come back as a Force ghost, he comes back as some sort of vision. But he's clearly there, he's not hallucinating this. So I interpreted Leia's sacrifice as her pulling Han Solo back for just a moment to redo that scene from Episode 7 how it should have been.
So her giving up the rest of her life force
to bring Han back for just a couple minutes
and let him be a vision
to bring Ben back.
I mean, that's...
but before that, Rey fucking kills Kylo.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a mortal wound.
As soon as she stabs him, Leia just drops.
Yeah, and then Rey snaps out of it for a second, seeing him limp like that. Suddenly she's like, "I have to save you," and then does the second Force heal.
She felt Leia die when she did that.
Oh yeah, you're right. She did sense Leia's death. So in that moment, she's like, "Oh no, I have to heal you," and then she just leaves. She takes Kylo's starfighter and just takes off, and then Kylo has that moment with Han Solo, which is probably my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely.
It's like that final moment of
not only that, the movie actually kind of slows down for a second.
We finally have a moment of like reflection.
Yes.
Because think about it, it's been go to the point where the Falcon is actually in ruins, and they're like, okay, we'll just wait till tomorrow when the waves are not this bad.
Nope, go.
We ain't got time for that.
We don't have time.
There's
for
a
that.
contrived time limit in the movie that we've forgotten about. Like they're on a 24-hour time limit.
Absolutely,
they literally put them on a timer.
I forgot about that.
But the movie didn't need to be even more fast than what it currently was.
No kidding. But no, the Han scene, like
we finally get the start of the redemption arc that everybody has wanted.
We've been waiting on Ben to snap out of it for a long time, and he finally snaps out of it right there. But we don't see him again until the climax.
So this is where we can talk about the movie needing to be 2 parts, because this redemption arc should have started at the end of 8.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we should have ended the movie right here at Endor. The movie could have ended right there, and it would have been a nice cliffhanger. And
with him throwing his lightsaber,
and then. Boom.
Done.
We're good.
Yeah.
There's been enough crazy action, and that was our climax.
Because after this point...
Fuck, that would have been good.
You can clearly tell that JJ is making the movie that he wanted to make.
Yeah.
Because the movie actually slows down after this point.
And we finally have a plot. Like, we cut back to the Rebel base. Rey has gone off to find... What's it called? Help?
She went off to hide.
She was going to hide. She went to Act 2.
To hide.
Yeah,
she
to hide.
destroys the ship.
She destroys the ship.
Luke the spook.
Yeah, Luke the spook. She throws the lightsaber, and this time Luke catches it. Another fuck you to Episode 8. It's like, what are you doing? Like, hold on a second. I almost wish it was Anakin, just to have a different Force Ghost like rock up and be like, hey, let me tell you something about, giving up and running away and stuff like that. But it was, of course, it was going to be Luke. Yeah. And I loved seeing Luke like that. And it felt a lot like Luke again. It's like, catches the lightsaber, goes up to Rey and be like, you're going to have to face your fears. You're going to have to do this. We're with you.
One of the reviews that I had seen already is that it was talking about how in Episode 8 there was just a complete lack of respect for a Jedi's lightsaber.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so Luke saying that, like, this is the Jedi's weapon deserves more respect than this. That's literally J.J. Abrams saying... Who's the director of Episode 8?
Rian Johnson.
Yeah, that's literally J.J. Abrams going that to Rian Johnson. Like, what are you doing with the series?
And then they give Rey another lightsaber, an important lightsaber that we haven't seen before, Leia's lightsaber. It's like, it's been waiting for somebody. So now Rey has 2 lightsabers, and now she's off to go face the Emperor by herself.
Yep.
And then...
After Luke the Spook raises the X-Wing out of the ocean.
Like, this is where it all really starts fitting together. Like, the rebels are sitting there going, well, we're out of time... What do we do? And
because this is the film JJ wanted.
And now Poe has been made general. He's been made the commander. And he's not ready for it. And he starts to have this little breakdown in front of Leia's body. Like, what am I supposed to do? Lando comes in for a beautiful scene that's like, we weren't ready. Well, how'd you do it? How'd you bring down an empire? It's like, we just had each other.
Would you say that scene should have also happened in 8?
Yes, I feel like all these downtrodden moments should have been the end, the wind down, before everyone starts to gear up for the final battle.
Yeah.
But,
there are points, we'll get into the Episode 8 review, but there are points in 8 where it could have stayed the same, but then...
Just a few modifications.
Little
tweaks here or there.
Fix it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's an entire arc that you could have just cut out, and that's like 45 minutes of time you could have done with something more productive.
But it's like what Chris said. We'll be getting to it pretty soon.
Yeah.
But then we have a funny moment, or kind of a funny moment, but it is an important moment where Poe goes to Finn and says, I need your help. I need you to be with me. I'm going to make you a general as well.
I need a co-commander.
Yeah, I
can't do this by myself.
We're good. And they do that funny moment. It's like, General. Like, they do that silly moment. I'm just like, it's great. No, it's a great way to break the tension. It's a great way to break the tension just a little bit, because they're about to have this dramatic moment where it's like, we're not alone. We have to go fight. And all the Resistance guys are like, what are we supposed to do against that? Like, they've got a few dozen starfighters, 1 CR-90 Corvette, and that's about it. And, they're like, we're going to sweep the core worlds, we're going to find anyone and everyone who's willing to fight. We're going to do this.
Lando and Chewie break off for the
You know what they could have done, which would have been super cringe?
They
could have thrown It's a Leap of Faith. into the movie.
Oh no.
They could have done that. It would have worked.
They probably could have, but
I'm not saying they should have, but they could have.
Because Poe did have this moment just beforehand, before all this happened, where he had a moment where the idea of let's rally everyone together, he questions it because it's like during the Battle of Crate, we put out a call for help, and nobody showed up. So what if we are just beaten?
Yeah.
And Lando does the whole thing where it's like, no, there are more of us. Like, the Empire will win by making you think that you are alone.
The difference is that they were calling for help, like actual help, because they were in danger.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is, hey, this is an attack. We need your help. It's going to fail.
Yeah, no, this is the moment where it's like, we're out of time. They're going to blow up every planet. If you've got a ship, we've got to go now. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We got to go.
The Empire played its hand, the First Order played its hand by literally destroying a planet.
Yeah, they blow up a planet to let it know, so that would probably kick the galaxy in the teeth and go, hey, they're going to blow up every planet. If you've got a ship with guns, you're coming with us. Like, there's no time anymore. So, but the Resistance, they're out of time, so they can't wait for reinforcements. So the few dozen ships that they have take off to back up Rey. Oh, no, we forgot a beautiful moment with Rey where she takes off in Luke's X-Wing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was a perfect setup because we saw that X-Wing in 8. That X-Wing was just laying around in the water in 8. So they have this moment where it's
Red
like,
5.
yeah, there goes Red 5, classic T-65 X-Wing.
Excuse me, R2 seems to be getting notification that our Red 5 is still operating.
Yeah.
It's transmitting its signal.
Yeah, it's putting out waypoints.
Exactly.
The 3PO cop-out.
Yeah.
We forgot about it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. R2 does the thing, restores 3PO's memory to before the movie started.
Well, of course, C3PO would just undermine R2. Like, there's no way he has... Hello, I'm back.
I'm good. I'm back. My sacrifice was for nothing. We're good.
And then... well, that plot hole went nowhere.
Well, unless, like, 3PO will be in another movie where his memory's twitchy to maybe pay it off, but Anthony Daniels has said he's done.
Yeah.
So...
They could have, if the movie was broken into 2 parts, they could have left his memory broken.
And then we get it back to the next movie.
No, not even get it back to the next movie. In the next movie, I would say 3PO should have died. Like, actually, like, been destroyed.
I don't know. I think we've lost enough characters. I think
it would have worked.
The fact that we didn't lose any original trilogy characters in this movie really goes to show it's like we're people...
Leia...
Or no, we lost Leia, but only because Carrie Fisher died in the real world. Like, they weren't going to kill Leia. Like,
But it was a
good death. The way they handled it... The way they handled it, I think, was the best they were going to be able to handle it. It was not good, the whole situation. But now we're getting towards the climax.
I think you guys are too attached to 3PO. I think he should have died.
I'm just tired of OT characters dying. That's me.
I don't know. I think they...
We had to scare with Chewie at first, so...
I think 3PO dying would have been a more rewarding end to his character than just giving him his memory back.
I will agree with you. But I'm happy 3PO's alive.
I'm not.
That's just me. So we're finally at the climax. Rey is meeting the Emperor, and the Emperor reveals that...
No, she's meeting her grandfather.
Blah, 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 blah.
Shut up.
And Palpatine reveals, it's like, I never wanted to kill you. I wanted to bring you home so you can become Empress. And this is where the whole, like, every single Sith is now in Palpatine, and Rey killing Palpatine will allow all of their spirits to go into Rey, and she'll become the Empress. And it's like... What?
Unlimited power!
To be fair, the only thing I could say is this. With the Sith, for the rule 2 has been passed down forever.
Uh-huh.
So rather than a bunch of Sith running around of equal power, there's just 2 that are incredibly powerful. Once the Master is slain by the apprentice becomes the Master, has all the abilities, and so on and so forth. It's not really...
You're thinking they're stacking into each other?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's kind of what the movie is
completely
implying.
explains how powerful he is, especially at the center of all Sith power.
They're getting ridiculous.
It's kind of what it's implying, so yes?
Yeah.
So, with one person capable of using the dark side of the Force, being basically as powerful as they possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah.
Which was the original explanation for why Rey was so powerful, was because she was essentially the only light side user left.
Yeah, she was
a literal awakening in the Force.
Yeah, a literal Force bubble of awesome. Like, it's too much.
But it does feel very contrived.
Yeah. And then, what's next? The Resistance shows up.
Starts doing a thing. They start going for the tower. Which
there's a tower because the Star
I'm so glad that they did something about the singular tower, because I'm just like, they're not that stupid.
Yeah, because the original thing was, it's like, there's a sensor tower on the ground that is used to guide the Star Destroyers out of the planet's atmosphere because it's crazy. So it's like, so you just gave the Resistance a super easy target. But halfway through their run, just as they're about to get there, it switches off. And now it's the lead resurgent Star Destroyer is the beacon. So it forces them to go back up.
And they don't even know where it is until Finn points it out. Like, there it is.
Force sensitive.
Yeah. Like, so... At first, because I was thinking, it's like, you're really just going to blow past all these Star Destroyers and not fight? Like, that's what we're doing here? But no, it's like, no, that didn't work. We don't have a choice. Let's go fight. And it's like, all right, we're okay now. They land their troop transport on the Star Destroyer.
I would have loved the fact that when they start landing on the Star Destroyer and they finally get to it, it shuts off and they turn the other tower back on.
Let's play leapfrog with the tower!
Yeah, like, they did just leave the tower. They should have just destroyed the tower anyway.
Right. Like, launch a couple proton torpedoes. What's the harm?
Plot hole number 15.
Yeah. No. And then we get our moment. We get our dramatic last stand. Let's do this. The troop transport opens, and the cavalry rides on top of a Star Destroyer. The cavalry charges with BB-8 backing them up, just riding with the cavalry. It was a beautiful scene. In context, it's a beautiful scene because it's like, this is what the Resistance has.
Horses.
We got horses.
We have a girl with a bow and arrow.
She literally had a fucking bow and arrow. And you know what?
It worked.
She won. So they're doing their thing. Rey's doing her thing. And then it gets bad. Because of course it does. Like, we have our moment of, like, everyone's getting killed. And Poe does have a moment, like, where he completely, like, breaks down. He's like, I'm sorry.
Guys, we're done.
I thought help was coming. Because you have that desperate moment, like, where the comm channels are just everyone's screaming for help. Like, what do we do? Because it's all falling apart. And, like, Poe breaks down. He's like, I'm sorry. I thought help was coming. There's just too many of them. And then Lando finally chimes in. He's like, but there's more of us. I broke down in that moment.
Yeah.
I saw that fleet ride out, and I'm just like, oh my god.
That is beautiful.
It was bigger than I could have even imagined. Thousands of ships. And then, the Empire's like, how could this be? Like, they have no navy. It's like, it's not a navy, sir. It's just...
People.
And it's like, I can see some navy ships in there. Like, I'm seeing a lot of, like, Rebellion-era warships in there. I'm just like, you got this. And then... Has Kylo gotten there yet? I forget. When did Kylo get there?
As this is going on, underneath, Rey met up with Palpatine.
I think Kylo has just landed and is making his way into the temple.
Yeah. And he gets jumped by the Knights of Ren.
And oh boy, the Knights of Ren.
Wasted. I love this fight. It's just like, wasted. I ain't got a lightsaber anymore, but I'm going to fight you anyway. And he does good for a second.
Kylo tries to fist fight them, and
These
it does
guys
okay.
Been built up with intimidation to all hell. They're standing there in the background. They're looking menacing. They're following the heroes all the way throughout the story. And now they cornered Kylo Ren. He's got no lightsaber. He's got nothing.
But Rey is supposed to strike down Palpatine, and she senses Kylo and just goes...
I love that.
She doesn't actually do that. But that'd be funny. It's like, it's gone. And now Kylo's got a lightsaber.
Does it, though. He's just like... and just starts fighting.
And then he wrecks them.
Oh my
he tears them apart.
Annihilates the Knights of Ren.
That's fine. He's their leader.
I know.
I'll let it happen.
It was so beautiful, though, because he just pulls the lightsaber up from behind him. He's just like...
Because once again...
and gets him. Like,
once again, this big force of intimidation gets its ass handed to it. It happened to Phasma. It happened to Phasma again. It happened to the Knights of Ren. So I was going to lose my shit if Phasma showed up again. I was waiting for him, like, where's Chrome Dome? Where is she at?
She's such a wasted character. Like, well, they wasted the shit out of her.
Hey, how freaked out do you think the guy behind Kylo Ren was whenever he pulled up?
Like, guys, there's a lightsaber.
How the fuck?
And then they show up to face Palpatine together, and Palpatine just laughs. It's like, you two will bring back the true Emperor, blah! And he uses them to restore himself to full power. Basically killing both of them.
Drawing out their life force, which
is fine. It's literally it's the reverse of what Rey has already been doing in this movie.
Yes, and to be fair, that's kind of what's just been happening all throughout. Like, it was hinted in episode 3 of, like, Palpatine taking Padme's life and putting in Vader.
Mm-hmm.
There was the scene with Leia in this movie in episode...
Where she gives energy to,
Rey's
so it's
giving her life energy to anybody that's just injured.
Yeah. Then we'd probably get the coolest display of power that Palpatine's ever done. Like, he launches lightning into the sky to wipe out the entire Resistance fleet in one fell swoop, and it almost worked.
Yeah.
Right? It was going...
I've seen people complaining about how powerful he was, and in my opinion...
He's the big bad.
One, he's the big bad. 2, he's the Sith on the planet at the Sith's seat of power.
That's where it's...
He's going to be super powerful, and 2, he's not necessarily creating all of that lightning. He could also just be manipulating the lightning that's already up there.
Amplifying the storm?
Not even amplifying it, just sent the lightning from his hands to the sky could have just been used to... Or he could just be connecting with all of it that's already there.
Yeah.
Did you say lightning with my hands? Hands! Lightning from my hands!
Shout out.
I don't know. I like Shazam, okay?
Shazam's good.
Let me
go watch it.
It's on DVD. It's on Blu-ray.
Please watch it.
No, and then Rey does finally have her moment of connecting with the Force. Like, all of the Jedi of the past call out to her to rise up and fight. Like, we hear Qui-Gon, we hear Obi-Wan, we hear Ahsoka, we hear Anakin, we hear Kanan Jarrus.
Did we hear Ahsoka? I didn't
Yoda.
Ahsoka's voice called out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, if you go and look at the IMDb page for Rise of Skywalker, like if you weren't paying attention, you scroll down to the bottom, they're all there. It spoils them all there. Like, Mace Windu calls out. Yoda calls out. And they're all listed. Luminara calls out, like, for God's sakes. Like, so many Jedi call out to her.
We are with you.
Yeah.
Rise up, Rey.
And then she gets up to face Palpatine, and they have their final little battle. It would have been cooler. I think that scene would have been better if all of their ghosts were behind her in that moment.
Like Return of the King or something.
Yes.
Like a Return of the King moment. Like, it was beautiful to hear their voices.
I think that alone would fix the scene for me, because I take issue with the fact that Palpatine lost the same way that Mace Windu would have killed him.
Just blasting lightning back at him, yeah.
He's firing lightning at her. She just pulls up one saber and stops him.
Pulling the strings behind everything that the Empire has ever done, and you're telling me he falls for the same trick twice?
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
And even then,
but this time
it's two
lightsabers.
Two
sabers.
If I were Palpatine, I'd just stop lightning.
Yeah.
Pull out my own lightsaber and do a little spin.
So I can say that he might not be able to stop, because it's kind of like whenever you grab on to an electrical circuit, your muscles freeze up.
Oh, I see.
So he might not be able to stop.
I see what you're saying. Okay, but then
I'm just saying I could believe that once it starts being reflected, you might not be able to stop.
So we get past our climax, and the good guys win, because of course they do. And then we have our wrap-up scene. You know, the Resistance is celebrating. And this is the moment where it's finally time for Finn to confess his No. No.
You skipped the elephant in the room.
I skipped something.
Oh, yeah, you know.
Ben. I skipped Ben.
Speaking of love.
Yeah. Rey fucking dies. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Rey dies. She drops dead. Ben gets to her. Force heals her, because of course we're
another fake out, by the way.
We're going to do 3 Force heals in a row in this movie. And she comes back to life, and they have their little moment. She kisses Ben, and it's like, oh, poor Finn. Like, these two are going to end up together because, of course, they're... Nope. Ben drops dead. Drops dead. And it's like, really?
Okay, so as soon as he's Force healing her, I'm just like, if they... So this is my thought process in the movie when I'm watching this happen on screen for the very first time. Ben crawls over, I'm like, okay, he's going to Force heal her. And he's going to give up his life because I'm going to be pissed if they're both alive at the end of this.
To be fair, you are right, because at that moment, it cops out any death. If a Jedi can just bring anyone back to life on the fly like that...
Yes.
Yeah.
But no,
when it's already been explained as a transferring of life.
Sharing life.
Yeah.
They were knocked down solo anyway because of Palpatine.
Yeah. I could almost let it go just because the connection that's established with those two, but I think you're right. But the fact
then they're staring at each other, and I'm just like, don't do it. Just don't.
They kiss.
They went in for it, and I immediately looked away. I'm like, I can't fucking watch
they
this.
kissed.
It's stupid.
They kissed, and then he dies, which is a real shame.
I like the fact that it's kind of shown up on the reviews now, and at the bottom it just says cringeworthy, stuff like that. That's the only cringe moment in the entire movie. Like, really?
This is accurate. There's no other cringe moments in the entire show.
Yeah, I don't think I can think of it.
It got to that, and it was so bad. I literally looked away for like a solid minute.
The relationship is built up, but
not to that level.
Not to that level.
At no point. There's clearly a close connection between them.
Yeah.
But
yes, but that can be explained by what did you call it? Diode.
They're like a duality in the Force. I think they're called a diode in the movie. I'm just saying duality.
Okay.
But it didn't need to be boasted up to a relationship kind of level.
Yeah.
Being the duality could be compared to like partners on the police force.
Mm-hmm.
They're so close that they're almost at the level of a relationship, but they're just really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we're going to have to throw in another love thing into this.
Yeah. And speaking of love, fucking Finn, man. They get back to base and they do their little celebration and they spot each other in the crowd, right? And it's like, all right, Finn is going to profess his love for Rey. It's really going to be awkward if they kiss because she just kissed somebody else.
Just kidding.
No. Rey, Finn, and Poe do a 3-way hug and it cuts away from them. And it's like, but you set it up. You set up that Finn was going to tell Rey. You did it. Like, you...
Comedy comes in threes.
And then...
I have something to tell you.
Now,
Rey.
are we gonna talk about Finn's, like, we doing it tonight?
You mean Poe's?
Poe.
Yeah, Poe bumps into his ex-girlfriend, and they just kind of look at each other, and he just goes, hmm? And she just goes, he just goes.
I tried.
That's
I laughed so hard.
That's par for the course.
She tried. And then the final scene. It's a very controversial scene. Rey going back to the homestead on Tatooine to bury Luke and Leia's lightsabers.
Yeah.
And I question how she even learned where that was, but okay.
I mean,
Luke to spook.
Considering that Luke and Leia's ghosts were literally right there, I can imagine that they talked about it at some point. But like, she buries it, and then a traveler shows up, be like, "No one's been here in years. Who are you?" Rey. Rey who? She looks over at Luke and Leia.
But
Skywalker.
I'm gonna just say that it's been kind of built up. Like, who are you, Rey? I'm Rey. No, who are you? That's kind of the whole question throughout. And of course, the ending line is her saying,
I'm Rey Skywalker, yeah.
I'm this.
And she has a yellow lightsaber now.
Which is cool.
It's cool to see a yellow lightsaber.
Finally brought into the movies.
Yeah. And then, I will say, the final shot of the movie is probably the best it could have ever been. Rey staring out at the twin suns.
Yeah.
I don't think you could have ended the trilogy on a better moment. But...
felt corny to me.
That's you. Like,
that's you.
As a Star Wars fan, I appreciate the shot of the twin suns. Like, I like that shot.
Like, out of all the things to say about, like, Episode 8, one of my favorite scenes is Luke staring at the two suns.
As he dies, yeah.
As he dies.
Yeah.
That felt really beautiful, but...
it wasn't the last shot, so, it was just a beautiful scene. But I think we've basically blow for blow covered the whole movie at this point.
I mean, One last complaint. Rey's lightsaber, the handle's too small.
Shut up. She's got smaller hands than us.
Wait, I thought it was on the end of her, stick.
What?
Because she had her stick with her.
No.
Was it a saber pike?
I think it was a saber pike.
No.
I can't remember. I have to go look. I've only seen it once, so... yeah.
Yeah. We've only seen it once, and it's just our general ideas of what
this is us doing the best we can, like, to remember as much as we can, because it really doesn't get coherent until, Rey and Kylo's fight on the Death Star. Yeah.
As much as I hate when movies break up into two parts, like with Harry Potter, Episode 8, Part 1, Part 2, this movie needed it because of what Episode 8 did to the whole... You
needed a refresher movie to be like, hey, here's where we're at. And they could have slowed down the whole first third if they would have just done that.
So much better. It would have been so much better off.
Right.
But they had to crank it out in one movie.
Because it had to be a trilogy. You got to finish the trilogy.
I honestly can't give like a final result or like
trilogy.
what I really think about the movie.
I can't give it a score, not yet. I need to, now that I have an idea on what's happening, I can watch it again and kind of breathe, because I can kind of breeze through it. As of right now, I like it, but I feel bad for it because it's a victim of an incoherent trilogy.
It's a shame. It's a real shame.
Wow, just like the other two trilogies.
What? 4, 5, and 6 was good. 3 is a victim of 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. But yeah, I can't give it a verdict. If I had to give it a score right now, just with my thoughts, I'm gonna give it an 8 because I see what it could have been, what it should have been, and it really was firing on all cylinders at the end. I'm gonna give it a 7 or an 8, just because what I really like, and what I don't like, I feel bad for because it almost needed to be that way to fix the situation. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
I really want to put it down in the middle because it's seriously split, and I can see why the fan base is all split about this.
So you're gonna give it.
Are you talking about among movies in general, or just among the 9 Star Wars?
Just
movies?
right now, just among these, like
as a Star Wars fan, I liked it. It's got some problems, and it's not how I would really like to see the show end. But that's just Star Wars fans in general. We're never going to be satisfied with anything.
I don't know. We're pretty happy with The Mandalorian. Like we're pretty happy with The Mandalorian right now.
I would love to see them make a Star Wars movie following the story of the Jedi that doesn't fall flat.
Well, those
maybe
exist.
the next trilogy.
Those exist, but. So what about you, Kyle? 1 out of 10. What do you think? If you had to give it a score right now, where are you thinking?
Again, I didn't understand, Chris. Was it among all movies or just Star Wars movies?
Let's just say along Star Wars movies.
Just among the Star Wars movies, I give it an 8.
You give it an 8?
Yeah.
So we're averaging out about 7.
Yeah.
So you're doing 5. I'm doing 7. He's doing 8. So we're
I have to
averaging
give it a 5
out.
because based as a movie, it's too much.
It's too much.
Too much.
It's really too much.
But you can tell from the movie at that center point, and probably throughout this review at that center point where
it kicks in. Yeah.
It kicks in the
gear.
You can tell, like, man, that's good.
Yeah.
Actually, so among Star Wars movies, one of them, so just among the 9 Star Wars movies, one of them has to be a 10. Which one is it?
5.
5?
For me, 5. 5 or 4. They're both basically 10s.
I don't know. I honestly can't tell you. I'm waiting for us to finish up wrapping the Star Wars.
Yeah, and we can give like a comprehensive list, like where we stand as we're finished. Like,
yeah,
but for now we're giving episode 9 about a 7.
Yeah,
and I think we're okay with that. And with that, thank you all so much for listening to our rant. It was a little all over the place, but it was just like the movie. We tried our best to stay on point with the movie, just to follow it as best we could. But we will definitely be going and seeing it again, and our thoughts might change and be redacted, but this is just what we wanted to talk about now as the movie was fresh. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you all next time on The Tavern.
Peace.
Cheers.